The final stimulant we will be covering is cocaine. Cocaine is an illegal drug because of its many harmful side effects. Although it feels pleasurable when you're on it, the consequence of cocaine is very severe. Like Adderall, cocaine is linked to the neurotransmitter dopamine, which causes the feeling of pleasure and reward in the brain. Like the Adderall video explained, dopamine works by going through vesicles in the neurons and releasing through exocytosis. It then attaches to receptors, and then once it relays a signal, it goes back up through reuptake channels. But when cocaine comes into play, cocaine completely blocks the reuptake channels, making an extraordinary amount of dopamine left in the synapses. Now, let's look at the chemical structure of cocaine compared to dopamine. Cocaine and dopamine differ noticeably, which may be the reason why cocaine blocks the reuptake channel instead of going through it. Cocaine is similar to Adderall in the sense that if you are addicted to it, it lowers the amount of dopamine in your system, but cocaine is very highly addictive, which causes it to drastically cause this effect. The physical effects of withdrawal from cocaine are very harsh and cause your whole body to become violently ill. Since we've already grappled with ways to increase the amount of dopamine in the brain, let's focus more on how much cocaine affects the body. First, let's talk about dosage. The normal dosage taken of cocaine is 100 to 200 milligrams. But wait, what exactly is milligrams? Well, to understand this, let's start with the prefix milli. Milli is an SI unit prefix. SI unit prefixes are prefixes that you attach to the front of words to make them smaller or bigger. For example, milli means 10 to the negative third power. Next, let's move on to grams. What is a gram? Well, a gram is a SI unit for mass. Some other SI units include meters for length and Kelvin for temperature. Finally, let's talk about derived units. Derived units are different than regular SI units, as they are a combination of SI units made to something measurable or something we can use in mathematics. For example, volume is length times width times height, which can be measured in meters, and density is mass over volume, which can be found by using an original unit. Now, let's move back to cocaine. In order to properly understand cocaine, we have to understand that there are two types: powder cocaine and crack cocaine. Crack cocaine, the free-base version of cocaine, comes from regular cocaine minus the hydrochloride. But how does this happen? Well, first of all, we have to understand the difference between powdered cocaine and crack cocaine. Powdered cocaine is powder, while crack cocaine is crystallized. Well, that raises the question, what exactly is a crystal structure, and how is it formed? All crystal structures are repeating molecular structures formed by covalent or ionic bonding. Since the crystal structure of crack is kind of hard to explain, let's take a simpler crystalline structure such as sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is molecularly formed in the basic crystal structure as shown. So all this talk about crack and cocaine raises the question, how do you make crack? But warning, this process is illegal and is not to be tried. Well, in order to do this, you must take baking soda and add it to cocaine and heat it up, and it makes crack. So, the formula for this would be cocaine added to hydrochloric acid plus sodium, hydrogen, carbon and oxygen molecule equals cocaine plus water plus CO2 and plus sodium chloride. But if you tried this formula, not all of your cocaine is going to turn into crack and the other substances that are your products. This is because of percent yield. Why is this? Well, if you remember, molecules have to kind of bump into each other in order to start a reaction. So, not all molecules will bump into each other, creating a theoretical yield, what should have happened, and an actual yield of what actually did happen. This is due to factors such as temperature and pressure. So, the formula for percent yield would be percent yield equals the actual yield over theoretical yield, times 100 of course to make it a percent. So, if we were expecting to get 20 grams of crack, but only got 15 grams of crack, we would times that by 100 and get a 75% yield. So, though we might not know how to ease the withdrawal of cocaine, we can start to understand this by understanding how many molecules of cocaine we're dealing with, and as a result, how much extra dopamine we would need to be produced in order to ease withdrawal from the stimulant.